joined global community to mark World Environment Day with renewed calls for environmental sustainability and climate action. Nigeria Railway Corporation adds extra trip to its Lagos-Ibadan passenger services due to passenger traffic. Good evening. Welcome to Delta TV Main News tonight. My name is Frances Ufulue. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has announced the state government's resolve to adopt modern technology in tackling the rising wave of violent crimes across the state. Governor Oborevwori, worried by the growing insecurity in parts of the state, issued a stern warning to local government chairmen, insisting that consistent attendance and active participation in monthly Security Council meetings was non-negotiable. Ejimel Dweme now reports.
Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, who was worried by the growing insecurity in parts of the state, issued a stern warning to local government council chairmen, insisting that consistent attendance and active participation in monthly Security Council meetings was non-negotiable. Speaking during a high-level security stakeholders meeting in Asaba, the governor expressed displeasure over reports that some council chairmen have been neglecting their roles in coordinating grassroots security efforts. He emphasized that the monthly Security Council meetings were crucial for assessing threats, sharing intelligence, and coordinating responses to crime, and warned that any chairman who fails to take the meeting seriously will face disciplinary actions, including possible suspension. Governor Oborevwori stressed that with renewed state of kidnapping, court clashes, and court-related killings, as well as drug abuse and ritual killings, there was urgent need for all security stakeholders to up their game in ensuring enhanced peace and security across the state. He further remarked that deployment of advanced surveillance systems, crime mapping tools, and data-driven intelligence will enhance the effectiveness of law enforcement agencies and reduce criminal activities. He commended traditional rulers and security stakeholders for their continued support and partnership with governments of violent crimes in the state. He vowed to hold the AGON chairman and his executives responsible for failure of council chairmen to hold regular Security Council meetings and charge council chairmen to work together with the traditional rulers under them.
There is still a lot of work to be done. Reports of insecurity, especially kidnapping, are still prevalent. This is disturbing. I urge our youth not to resort to social media and making inciting statements, but rather to collaborate with security agencies and our local vigilantes to confront the kidnappers and the perpetrators of other heinous crimes in their communities.
Briefing journalists at the end of the meeting, Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo, said the stakeholders had a useful discussion where it was agreed that serious measures be taken to curb the issue of kidnapping that was rearing its ugly head in some places.
That measures, serious measures will be taken to curb the issue of kidnapping that is rearing its head in some places, and the various groups commended His Excellency and the security agencies for all that they are doing to making sure Delta State is peaceful, is safe.
The commander of the 63rd Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Asaba, Brigadier General Folu Shonibari, said stakeholders at the expanded Security Council meeting were able to come together and agreed on how to curb the menace of kidnapping, courtism, farmers' herders clashes, and the issue of drug abuse in the state. He disclosed that security agencies will continue to do their best to make sure that the state was cleared of all criminals, stressing that their effort was already yielding impressive results, as over 16 civilians that were about to be kidnapped were recently rescued in the state. On the protest that erupted in Abraka recently, the brigade commander said, contrary to rumors making the rounds, nobody was shot as the military cleared the protest peacefully, pointing out that his men were very professional in discharging their duties.
So with the meeting today, I can assure you that there's a lot of synergy that has taken place today, and the information will be passed from the grassroots down and upwards to the security agencies where we can act and we can make sure that Delta State is safer. In appraising the successes, Delta State is achieving a lot of security. We can attest to the fact that IPOB is not able to operate in this state, and they will never be able to operate in this state.
For his part, Chairman, Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Agon, Delta State, Honorable Isaiah Esiowa said they have been directed to move back to respective domain to take issue of security further. The Joint Security Council meeting presided over by Governor Sheriff Oborevwori at Government House is aimed at addressing all perceived security challenges across the state. For Delta TV News, Ejime Udueme reporting.
As the world marked World Environment Day today, Deltans have been reminded of the need to protect and preserve the planet for future generations. The State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejiro Jamani, gave the reminder during a road walk organized by the ministry as part of activities marking the day in Delta State. Gloria Otolo reports.
Mr. Jamani urged residents to support Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's environmental sustainability agenda by adopting eco-friendly habits. He listed such habits to include reducing waste generation and carrying reusable shopping bags, water bottles, or coffee cups to minimize the single use of plastics. Mr. Jamani stressed the plastics caused significant damage to the environment and advised residents to stop littering while making deliberate efforts to recycle plastics and turn them into useful materials.
The environment is our personal property. When we see the environment as our own, we take full responsibility of it. Clean your drains. Those who are living close to the drain belongs to you. Clean the drains, part of our own process.
The Environment Commissioner emphasized that maintaining a healthy environment was essential to preventing diseases. In a goodwill message, the State Head of Service, Dr. Mini Oseji, highlighted the need to review the operations of the Delta Waste Management Board to foster behavioral change and sustainable growth. She encouraged the stakeholders to ensure that the event impact extended beyond the celebration, promoting initiatives that would benefit Deltans.
I want to encourage everyone that let the activity not end with the photo shoots for today, but that we should follow up on all the actions that we've been doing before, intensify, scale up.
The Environmental Day activities include a drama presentation on the need for people to maintain a clean environment. Gloria Otolo reporting.
The federal government has picked 12 universities, 2 from each geopolitical region of the country, to manufacture electric vehicles. The initiative, which is part of the Nigeria First policy of the President Bola Tinubu administration, is to be financed by the Bank of Industry and other key financial institutions. Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Mr. Oluwemimo Osinipa, announced this at a stakeholders engagement with the Association of Motor Dealers of Nigeria and the Nigerian Automotive Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State Capital. The theme of the engagement was import of used cars and dealership regulation in Nigeria. Mr. Osanipin said Nigeria was also committed to component and parts manufacturing as part of its preparation for Made in Nigeria vehicles and fulfillment of the First Nigeria policy, otherwise called Nigeria First policy. He added that the country was on its way to having 100 Made in Nigeria electric vehicles, adding that the federal government had already built stations in 10 of selected universities in readiness for the takeoff of the project. 4 suspected kidnappers have been killed in an operation led by the combined team of policemen, local hunters and anti-cult volunteers along the railway axis of Abraka, Efip East Council area. The Delta State Police Command, led by Commissioner of Police Abaniwanda Olufemi, in a statement, disclosed that the operation occurred yesterday with 5 firearms recovered in the operation. Describing the operation as a major breakthrough, the statement said the operation followed credible intelligence on the activities of the suspect. It disclosed that during a preliminary investigation, a recently kidnapped victim identified one of the deceased suspects as a leader of the gang and that abducted him. The State Command, while reaffirming its commitment to sustaining momentum against crime, hailed the operatives for the feat. Residents of the university town had on Monday embarked on a protest over the incessant kidnapping and armed robbery activities in the area. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Delta State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogedesiwe, says the recent security breaches and kidnapping incidents in other communities, Efip East local government area, have been brought under control. Speaking on Station Panorama, a public affairs program on Voice of Delta Radio Asaba, Dr. Ogedesiwe disclosed that the State Police Command, working in collaboration with other security agencies, eliminated 4 kidnappers during a recent operation in the area. He described the peaceful protest by Abraka residents on Tuesday as a legitimate way to draw government attention to public concerns. However, he warned that such protests must not be hijacked by criminal elements. Dr. Ogedesiwe assured that Governor Sheriff Oboro will remain committed to tackling insecurity in the state, especially incidents involving kidnappers and internet fraudsters, commonly known as Yahoo Boys. He commended security agencies for their proactive response to distress calls and strategic operations that had led to several arrests and prosecutions. The state government recently procured over 40 Hilux vans to boost the operations of security outfits, including the NDLEA, as part of the governor's commitment to the Renewed Hope agenda. Dr. Ogedesiwe emphasized that Delta State, being the 4th largest economy in Nigeria, remains safe and secure for both investors and visitors, and praising the visionary leadership of Governor Borowori across various sectors of the state economy. Also, Director General of the State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Dr. Fred Ogedesiwe, says the Borowori administration remained committed to delivering lasting democratic dividends to the people of the state. Speaking during a live interview on Rise and Joy FM radio, Dr. Ogedesiwe highlighted the administration's achievements, describing them as transformational across all sectors of the state economy. He disclosed that over 266,737,000 residents have benefited from various government empowership programs or empowerment programs, including the Delta Cares Initiative, the Women Empowerment and Skill Acquisition Program, Working Fingers, Mobiz Up, and several other platforms. The DG emphasized that there was no vacancy in-house at Asaba, noting that Governor Sheriff Obadowori's leadership has brought visible development and improved governance statewide. He said to the 3,887 retired civil servants have received 5.5 billion naira in arrears, while 362 officers have been paid outstanding promotion entitlements. Dr. Ogedesiwe described the governor's midterm performance report presented to the State House of Assembly as a testament to accountability, transparency, and respect for constitutional governance. On infrastructure, the DG listed major projects including 3 flyovers and pedestrian bridges at the DSC roundabout, PTI Junction, and Enere Junction, stretching far as Marine. He also announced that the 46-kilometer Uguli-Asaba dual carriageway, nearing completion, was made possible through proper funding and regular site inspections, assuring that all 153 awarded road projects covering over 1,300 kilometers of roads and nearly 300 kilometers of drains will be completed to specification. In celebration of the administration's 2nd anniversary, Dr. Ogedesiwe noted that 42 completed road projects, including Ishabu-Ewulu Road, will be inaugurated. He added that a total of 431 ongoing infrastructure projects spanning over 2,500 kilometers of roads and 822 kilometers of drainage were being executed across Delta State's 3 senatorial districts. The Director General commended Governor Borowori's performance, which he said has exceeded the people's expectations, and called on Deltans to sustain their support and prayers for the state government. The wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has made a passionate appeal to development partners, the private sector, NGOs and academic institutions to intensify their support for the national campaign to eliminate cervical cancer in Nigeria. Senator Tinubu made the appeal at the official unveiling of the Partnership to Eliminate Cervical Cancer in Nigeria, PERSIN, held at the State House in Abuja, describing the initiative as the beginning of a transformational journey for the health and dignity of Nigerian women and girls. She stressed that despite being preventable, cervical cancer remains the second most common cancer among women in Nigeria, noting that the launch aligned with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which prioritized the health and well-being of Nigerians, especially women. Senator Tinubu referenced the successful HPV vaccine rollout in 2023, pointing out that it proved the country's capability in tackling public health challenges and commended the federal government and the Federal Ministry of Health, the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, the global partners like Gavi, the Gates Foundation, WHO and UNICEF for their vital support. Calling on state and local government healthcare workers and traditional and religious leaders, the First Lady urged them to become champions of women's health and immunization, reiterating that they were the face of hope for millions of Nigerian women, urging them to serve with compassion and professionalism. Also speaking at the event, Vice Chair of the committee, Zainab Shinkafi Bagudu, revealed that over 13 million Nigerian girls have been vaccinated against HPV, a milestone placing Nigeria alongside African leaders like Rwanda in the fight to eliminate cervical cancer. The PERSIN initiative was expected to accelerate Nigeria's effort to eliminate cervical cancer as a public health threat by 2030. Former First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan has earned a PhD in psychology, guidance and counseling from the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education. Speaking at the schools for the third postgraduate convocation, Dame Jonathan said it was never too late to pursue academic ambitions, encouraging women and youth to stay committed to learning no matter their age. She dedicated the achievement to Nigerian women, promising to continue advocating for the empowerment of women, children and the youth. Dame Jonathan thanked her husband, former President Goodluck Jonathan, along with her family and friends for their support during her academic journey. She noted that the degree will serve as a fresh motivation to promote education and social progress. The Lagos State government has announced that it will begin full enforcement of the ban on single-use plastics from the 1st of next month to tackle environmental degradation. The Commissioner of Environment and Water Resources in the state, Mr. Tokumbo Wahab, who announced this at a media briefing, stressed that the state would no longer tolerate acts of environmental abuse. He said violators risked fines of up to 250,000 naira or imprisonment for up to 3 months, adding that already more than 3,000 persons had been arrested for environmental offences and ongoing compliance operations. Mr. Wahab noted that surveillance and advocacy campaigns were being intensified to drive public awareness and ensure compliance with the law, reaffirming that existing bans on public defecation, illegal street trading, and the operation of cart species remained in force. The Environment Commissioner urged residents to mark the Salah festivities responsibly by maintaining cleanliness and proper waste disposal, even as he advised citizens to bag their waste correctly and hand same over to assigned private sector participation PSP operators rather than dumping them in drains or public spaces. You're watching Delta TV, big news at 8. Still to come, Nigeria Railway Corporation adds extra trip to its Lagos-Ibadan passenger services due to traffic or passenger traffic. Do stay with us.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? you go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throw away your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
Sheriff, how much people dey go?
I will not think and cry again. So I say God will bless SLSC.
Learning is fun. As a mom, I see how demanding it can be for my child. That's why I ensure he starts every day with a cup of Bonvita. Give your child Bonvita. It contains essential vitamins and minerals that support mental and physical vitality. Bonvita. Prepare them to win every day.
You're watching Delta TV main news at 8. We go straight to the business scene, where less than 48 hours to the Eid al-Kabir, the prices of tomatoes, peppers, onions, and other perishables have suddenly soared in the aftermath of the collapse of the Mokwa Bridge in Niger State, which left hundreds of trucks conveying food items trapped. The bridge, a strategic gateway used by trucks conveying foodstuffs, livestock, and other produce from the north to the southern part of the country, was destroyed by last Thursday's devastating flood, which killed over 200 people, with hundreds of others unaccounted for. The development has sparked anxiety over the disruption of the food supply chain as the Muslim faithful celebrate Eid tomorrow. Dealers in perishable foodstuffs, whose goods were stranded at the failed bridge, have also lamented over the unfortunate situation and the impact on their businesses, fearing huge financial losses. Reports say at least 15 trucks loaded with tomatoes and pepper from Kebbi State are also marooned in Mokwa, Niger State, a situation likely to compound the high cost of the commodities in the market. Still in business and economic sector, the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) has added extra trips to its Lagos-Ibadan passenger train services following the increased passenger traffic during the Eid al-Kabir activities. The corporation also increased Warri-Itakpe trips for the same reason. The NRC in a statement explained that Aside from the 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Lagos-Ibadan trains, another trip had been added for 1:55 p.m. with an extra one for 11:03 a.m. while the 8 a.m. and 4:46 p.m. trains remained. The statement added that in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir and to ensure smooth travel for Muslim faithful and other passengers on the Warri-Itape corridor, the NRC operated special train services today, which ordinarily would have been a non-operational day reserved for maintenance. The corporation also announced that maintenance activities originally scheduled for today, June 5, had been rescheduled to Sunday, the 8th. It wished all passengers a pleasant and safe journey during the celebration, assuring the public of its continued commitment to providing safe, efficient, and customer-focused railway services. The need for early response to natural disasters and other emergencies was the crux of the stakeholders' engagement and national response and preparedness campaign under the auspices of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, held today in Asaba. The meeting drew stakeholders from across relevant sectors, including the police, the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Fire Service, the Red Cross, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the media. The General Manager of Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, Mrs. Christine Jobame Imitulu, was represented by Director News, Mrs. Mercy Memofo. The report.
By NEMA.
In a keynote address, the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mr. Zubaida Umar, said the devastating impact of annual floods in Nigeria served as a wake-up call to governments at all levels and all Nigerians to collaborate with the agency in managing disaster risk and safeguarding the country. Mr. Umar, represented by the Deputy Director of Special Duties in NEMA, Dr. Tanimu Thickman, said as part of its flood early warning system, NEMA had identified disaster management measures and strategies for communication to communities which were at risk during the rainy season. The NEMA DG disclosed that beyond the stakeholders' engagement, the agency was deploying teams to high-risk communities in all states of the Federation to take the early warning message to the grassroots in collaboration with state emergency management agencies and local emergency management committees, as well as community volunteers.
We have also produced vulnerability maps for all communities at risk of flood disaster to serve as tools to guide governments at all levels to develop risk reduction measures to avert disaster.
In a presentation, another NEMA official, Mrs. Chinwe Okpara, said Delta State fell into the category of highly impacted states in the predicted flood for 2025 and called for collective action to minimize losses that would occur. The NEMA official also advocated the establishment of well-equipped permanent camps for internally displaced persons, as well as regular desilting and clearing of drains as part of disaster preparedness initiatives.
It's not just about disseminating the information. Let us do it at the right time, because when you do it early, you avert some of the dangers that may arise.
The forum featured an interactive session with focus on areas prone to flooding and adherence to proper communication channels in reporting and managing disasters. Delta is among 12 states listed by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, and the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, as being at high risk of flood, with 43 local government areas around the country to be affected, including Ndokwa East, Ugele South, and Patani.
The Flamingos of Nigeria will face Canada, France, and Samoa in Group D at the 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. The draw ceremony for the 9th edition of the competition took place at the Mohammed V 5 Football Academy in Rabat, Morocco yesterday. It was conducted by Doha El Medani, American senior international, and Fatiha Nasiri, a former member of the Moroccan national team, all under the leadership of Jamel Yazar, director of the FIFA Tournament Division, and Sarai Berman, FIFA Chief Women's Football Officer. Morocco 2025 will be the first edition of the expanded tournament to feature 24 nations. It is also the first edition of the global showpiece to be held in Africa. Bankole Oluwakere's Flamingos will look to better their performance from the previous edition in the Dominican Republic, where they exited the competition at the quarter-final stage. The top 2 teams from each of the 6 groups will advance to the round of 16, as well as the 4 best third-place teams. The competition will run from October 17 through November 8. All the matches will take place in the city of Rabat. Now here's our thought for today. Do not say you have read books just to show that you have. Learn how to think better. To end the news, the main points again. Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has announced the state government's resolve to adopt modern technology in tackling the rising wave of violent crimes across the state. Governor Bori, worried by the growing insecurity in parts of the state, issued a stern warning to local government chairmen, insisting that consistent attendance and active participation in monthly Security Council meetings was non-negotiable. As the world marked World Environment Day today, Deltans have been reminded of the need to protect and preserve the planet for the future of the generations to come. The State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejide Jamani, gave the reminder during a road walk organized by the ministry as part of activities marking the day in Delta State. We also reported that the Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, has added extra trips to its Lagos-Ibadan passenger train services following increased passenger traffic during the Eid al-Kabir festivity. The corporation also increased Wari Itakba trips for the same reason. And that's the news. Many thanks for being part of it. My name is Francis Ofulue. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
You can now attend a court section in Delta State without ever stepping to a courtroom.